Beautiful. Oh, I'll just wait for it to pin over. Maybe I need to pin myself too.
No, you're pinned. You're pinned.
Actually, I'm going to put on gallery view for myself so I'm not just staring at my face so I can see you all. Hi, guys. I think I know at least half of your beautiful faces. Thank you so much for jumping on team training tonight. I know we have a team of thousands of people in Australia and around the world, and you guys are the ones showing up. So I just want you to take the time to be proud of yourself because you're present, you're committing to your business. It's actually a really beautiful thing. So what I always love to do at the start of my trainings is to get a little bit interactive. I know it's Monday night. Monday's usually the day where we're most tired. Can we all get into the chat section unless you're driving? And I'd love you to share just one thing that you're grateful for today. Because I get it, Mondays, it's, we always seem to notice all the negative stuff on a Monday. And I just want you to get into that space of what's something that actually was really amazing for you today, whether it's business related, life related, it doesn't matter. I'd love you to share. Chuck it in the chat. Dave made SDVF rocket, amazing. Love it. It's all shared because I know some of you may have had an amazing day. Some of you may have had a bit of a stressful day. And I just want us to get, I would love for you to get your energy into a grateful space for this call tomorrow. Grateful for all the patients who walked through my door today to trust me to look after them. I love that. That's so nice. Kim, I'm so grateful for that mangoes are still in season. I love mangoes. It's those little things. All right, 3 people are grateful on this call of 30 people. All right, Chantel, my daughter, I love it. All right, guys. Well, I just love to do this because it just it reminds you of, it gets you into that good space. Oh, here we go. More coming through. Simone, so grateful for the warm autumn weather. Hell yeah, that's why I left Canada to come back to Australia's weather. Jade, I'm grateful for being able to have time with my family. I love it. Caitlin, I'm grateful for everyone hosting and sharing on these calls to keep us inspired. Val, my family, I love it. Beautiful. So what I wanted to touch on today, this is something that, as Tamara said, whether you're brand new or you've been in this business as long as Tamara has, we all go through this. And I want to talk, and I'm going to talk, I'm taking full responsibility. Everything that I'm sharing with you today is something that I go through, I'm constantly challenged with, and I just know we all are. So I want to talk, and just me and Caitlin have been spending so much time together this month, and we have word of the month, and I'm like, today I keep talking about self-sabotage. It keeps coming up. So the word of the month is self-sabotage. Well, it's hyphen, so it's one word, right? Because you know that this business, if you really want to grow in this business, it's about you growing. It's your personal development, right? So it's going to come a point, and you might be there now. If you're brand new, just become conscious of this information. Just start soaking it in. And you get to a point that you feel stuck, hands in their hair. Who's ever felt stuck in their business? Every single person. Yeah. Even when we first sign up, we're just like, okay, I've signed up. What do I do? I feel stuck. It just means we have to have some kind of personal growth, whether it's big or small. So I want to talk about self-sabotage, unconscious self-sabotage. Most self-sabotage is unconscious. Anyway, we don't know we're doing it. The usual stuff, sorry, also disclaimer, if I talk really fast, you've got it recorded. I do like to talk fast, so hopefully you get all this info. The most obvious form of self-sabotage is all the negative stuff. So I'm just going to run through this, but it's not what I'm actually going to be focusing on today because we know this stuff. Can anyone even chuck in the chats? What do you think is some negative self-sabotage that we do in this business? For one example is assuming. We assume that, people aren't going to like us, or people aren't going to want to hear from us. Kim, prejudging, Carla, not having enough confidence, yes. And not doing the do, excuses. Oh my God, perfect. How easy was that? Coming up with all these negative ones, right? So we know this. We are aware of it, right? And we can even call ourselves out on it. And I could talk to you guys for this rest of this training all about don't assume, don't talk yourself out of it. Stop caring what others think. But we know this, and it's up to you to just be mindful of that. But I want to talk about the positive self-sabotage. So there's actually a thing, positive self-sabotage. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it in a Kim explaining way. If it doesn't make sense, ask me questions, but it should. And I got another disclaimer. I'm going to use the word push. So I find that word very empowering. It can be both positive or negative. You know, when it's like, oh, I don't want to push myself. I don't want to feel like I'm being pushed. I'm using it as, it's an easier word than saying empowering or motivated. It's just an easier word to say. So I love saying the word push. So I just had to say that. So I want you to imagine, well, we know this business, right? We have a goal. Whatever your goal is right now, whether it is a promotional title and what that means for you, whether it is an income goal, whether it is the impact you want to make, whenever it's, and however long it's going to take for you to get there, whether you have a monthly goal or you have a 2-year goal or 5-year or 10-year, whatever it might be, we all have a goal. And what happens is we set the goal and we get so focused on the goal and we just focus on it being the destination, right? We're just like, I just want to get to my destination. I just want to get to my destination. But we actually forget that this whole business is a journey. Does that make sense? Like, if you can't just get to the destination and it stops, because we constantly want to keep growing, or we constantly want to keep building this, or at least getting to the goal and maintaining it. So it's all about the journey. But what we find is, even when we get focused on the journey, the do every day, what lights us up, who do we help, the daily method of operation, whatever the journey is for you, this is what I find is, I do this all the time. I do this all the time. I can guarantee almost everyone on this call does it, whether it's in this business or in any goal in life. So what happens is, we're talking to our 5 or 10 or whatever it is people per day. We're putting ourselves out there. We're doing our social media. We're running events. And we're like 5 days into this part of the journey, right? Now, what can happen is, oh, I feel so good. I have ticked off my DMO 5 days in a row. I have had one person sign up here, and I've got this person coming to an event, or I'm about to hit my promotion. And what we do, and I know I do this, is, oh, it's Friday. Oh, I'm going to take some time off because I've done a really good job this week. So I'm going to take the weekend off. I'm going to take the next Monday off. I'm going to, I did a really good job. I didn't hit my goal, but I did such a good job. I'm just going to have a break. Does that make sense? What we are doing is we're positively self-sabotaging. We're giving ourselves, and it's great, we're giving ourselves that, pat on the back. We've done such an amazing job, but we are limiting ourselves. Subconsciously, we don't want to, or we actually don't believe we can fully hit that goal. So we've told ourselves we've done enough for today. So, and that's all, and that's fine. Now, I'm not saying this is a good or bad thing. It's both, right? There's both positive and negative. But the reason it's a positive thing, because we feel good. We're like, yeah, we've done what we need to do 5 days in a row, building momentum, feeling really good. We subconsciously self-sabotage because deep down we haven't believed that we actually want to keep going, and we give ourselves that break. So we're upper limiting ourselves. We're hitting that glass ceiling. And this is the difference between the person who actually hits their goal and then the person who's giving themselves a pat on the back right now, is you need to push through. The minute you feel like you are doing really well and you want to have a break, the magic happens when you push through. So this is where my push word comes in. You've got to keep going, because that's the tipping point. And you might feel like, oh, I'm really proud of myself. I'm doing really well, but I've done so much work. And you might feel like, oh yeah, I've got the customer and I've got the teamie, but I just need that break. I can guarantee if you just pushed for that little bit further, that is where the magic happens. And that's the difference between the people who are staying where they are and not moving, but still feel like they're doing the work, and the people who are actually hitting the goals. Does that make sense? Perfect. So that's why I want to bring your attention to this, because I'm someone who I always start my momentum, which is why my business has flatlined for the last 12 months. Like, it hasn't gone down, but I haven't had the growth that I wanted, because I have been doing getting really proud of myself, getting really elated, like going plus. Oh, sweet, I'll take the weekend off. I'll go drink a bowl of wine with my girlfriends. I'll just chill out. And then Monday comes and I kind of lost that motivation. And I have to start that snowball effect. I have to start that momentum again. So it's kind of like I build it, stop. And then it falls down. And I've got to build it, and it stops, and then it drops back down. So you can apply this with anything. And the best example is, if you go to the gym and you go work out, and then you take a week off because you've gone on holiday. How much harder is it to get back into the gym? It's the same theory. It's a positive self-sabotage, because yes, you're doing an amazing job, and yes, you deserve to have a little break, but don't allow that to stop you pushing that little bit further, because that's when you break through that glass ceiling. That's the tipping point. Because once you get that sustained momentum, it starts compounding and compounding. And do you know what happens? The work that you just did, for example, I'm just talking that week, that 5 days was just an example. It doesn't matter how long you do it for. What may have felt like a lot of hard work in that 5 days is going to feel second nature, autopilot to you once you've built this momentum. So when I was listening about, I was listening to some YouTubes about this positive self-sabotage, because when I heard it, I'm like, what the hell is positive self-sabotage? It just sounds silly. Like, how can you positively self-sabotage? But that's what it made sense to me with this business. So I guess I want you guys just to check in with yourself, and it's even more better. I failed English in high school, so I can have bad grammar. It's fine. You don't have to have good grammar to do this business. It's good for you to be conscious for yourself, but also for your team, because you will find this with your new team that come through, is that they're going really well and it's amazing, and then something's going to stop. There's going to be that glass ceiling, and then where everyone's going to be on a high, like I'm doing really well, but they're not going to push that little bit further. And it's your job as an upline to be that cheerleader, to be like, I know what's happening here. You are doing a really good job, but why give up? Like, not give up, sorry. Why stop now when you actually haven't reached the goal you want to reach? Let's push that little bit further. Let's push that comfort zone just that little bit further. So yeah, I just need to check back to my notes because I totally didn't follow my dot point, the progression of my dot points. Well, yeah, and this is another part of it. Like, so I've written, it feels uncomfortable to keep pushing, and we tell ourselves it's not fun, and why I don't do the business. Oh, that don't even make sense in my own notes. So again, you'll find, I want you to get really conscious when you have that point of, it's starting to feel uncomfortable. I just want to have a break. I'm not where I want to be, but I've done a good job. That's where you need to push through. So and that's what I've been doing, because I'll put the phone down or close the laptop. Oh, I've done what I need to do today. I'm like, Kim, if you just spent 15 minutes more, if you actually picked up the phone and had the phone call with the person you've messaged instead, it would be way more uncomfortable to have to pick up the phone. But if I did that, can you see how you're pushing yourself that little bit further? So I guess I'm giving you that challenge. And the reason I talk about this is the personal growth stuff. We all know how to get customers, how to bring on team members, right? If you all have at least one customer, if you can get one, you can get 1,000. If you've got at least one team member, if you get one, you can get 1,000. It's the same thing. But the difference between you and what you aspire to be is the personal growth that's in between. And you have to be wanting that and welcoming that into your life. And if you welcome it in, that's what's going to get you to push through that glass ceiling, to get you to that next level that you want to be at. I'm just going to read some of the comments to see. Yesterday was so much chaos. Got the first time in, Chelsea, I can't even read your. Oh, here we go. Chelsea's agreeing. I love that. I'll let you guys read the chats. That's fine. Just make sure you guys are all on mute, because I'm really bad with background noise. I haven't got selective hearing yet. I know that will come once I have babies. Here is another thing. This is what else I want to add on. And I talk about this so passionately, and I'm talking about this with so much love. This has been the biggest lesson for me in this business, and it ties in so well with positive self-sabotage and understanding what it is. Have you all heard the saying that in this business, it's not about you, it's about who you can help? It took me so long to get it, because my life was all about me. It was a Kim show, which is why my business never grew, right? And when I learned this is also what positive self-sabotage is. When you are making it about you, when you're like, I've done enough for this week, or I've done enough this month, or that was just enough to make me feel like I've done some work on my business, and you kind of want to take that break, who are you making it about? You're making it about yourself, right? Exactly. And the reason, again, I want to bring your attention to that is when you don't make it about yourself and you make it about who's out there that you can help, that's what's going to be the tipping point. That's what's going to break through that glass ceiling. So whenever you're having a moment, and this is both related to the negative and the positive self-sabotage, when you're having that moment where you're actually having a pity party, I'm great at throwing pity parties. I have a pity party almost every day on the phone to Caitlin. You know, she's my one invitee that I invite to my pity party. You know, it's, now I've lost my train of thought. When you're having the pity party and you're doing the negative, we know that's the negative side of it. But when you're also kind of over-congratulating yourself and telling yourself you've done enough, you're making it all too much about yourself and not about what you really want inside, those big goals that you have to push you forward. So I know I'm making a lot of emphasis on that because I just want you conscious of it. Because when I became conscious of it, when things happened or when I needed to stop and like analyze my business and be like, okay, what's going on? Why am I not getting the growth? Or what do I need to do to hit this goal or move forward? Okay, what am I telling myself? Am I not pushing myself enough? Am I staying in my comfort zone? Am I telling myself I'm doing just enough that's good enough now that I don't need to do anymore? So I just check my notes. I think I'm doing really good for time, Tam. I'm pretty sure that's everything I wanted to chat about.
All right. So I want to throw some questions at you, Kim, because this is great. This is really, really concrete to the way we do this business. And I've seen this time and time again, not only in myself, but also in the people that are coming into this business. We see a lot of the negative stuff at the beginning, the hesitations, the objections, and so on. But you're right, when people start to hit those goals, and I did it when I hit NMD, I just went, I'm amazing. I'm the first NMD that's hit this in a number of years. Look at me. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the wave. And then the business died. So, you know, I've learned that in a really big way. What I want to ask you though, Kim, is you've talked about the importance of being able to identify this. So being mindful and insightful to yourself. Do you have any tricks to like snap yourself back into that? And also when you do recognize it, what is a really good tip or trick to then push through? Is it reaching out to someone? Is it going re-engaging the DMO? Is it going and starting things from afresh again? What do you think are the ways to then push beyond that?
Yeah. No, I love that because it's not just a simple answer. This is going to be different for every single person. If you are new to this or new to personal development, this is where you want to be connecting with an upline. It can be either your direct upline or if it's one of your leadership uplines who inspire you from a mindset, personal development kind of way. They're the people you want to be checking in with because at the start, becoming conscious of this stuff, it is hard because we don't learn this stuff growing up. You know, it's not on our autopilot. That's why we have to create the consciousness. It's like doing the study, doing the learning, right? So if you feel like, okay, I really want to focus and get conscious about this, am I self-sabotaging? This is where be vulnerable, reach out, to an upline that you're working with or you want to work with. Talk too much and now my throat's gone all dry. Because they're the ones that can help keep you accountable. When I first started this, I was always talking to my uplines, Caitlin, Val, Abby, Carla, Tamara, Nat, like all the NMDs. They probably got sick of me, to be honest. But I had to let down my ego and be okay with reaching out and saying, this is what I want. This is where I feel like I am. This is what I want to be doing. I need help keeping myself accountable with my mindset and in not going up to your uplines and like whinging or complaining that I feel stuck, I feel this, or I feel like I'm doing a good job, but nothing's happening. but just reach out to them and say, okay, I need some help and some guidance. So that's my first step. Excuse me. If you're someone who you're already on that journey to personal development, I feel like this is a good question, Tam, because I'm like, what do? I feel like I've done so many different things. When I get into a space of, and I'm at this now, I had a really good end of last month, and then I kind of did the whole party, whatever, relax, and I'm like, okay, I've got to build my momentum back up. I sit down, no distractions, turn off the phone or get out of anything, messenger, beeping, whatever. Even if it's just half an hour, I sit down and I actually ask myself, I don't say like, what do I need to do? Or this is what I want, or I am this. I say, okay, how am I going to make this happen? If I feel stuck, or if I feel I need more momentum to kick in, what does that look like for me? What do I feel like I need to be doing? And it's getting back to that, what do I do on a daily basis? And then when it comes down to that part, it's, okay, who can I help? Every single day I ask myself, who can I help? And I just get it out of Kim and make it about the other people. I've also done stuff, guys, like I hope you're taking notes. If you want to be an NMD, or you want to grow a big business like that, I was being teachable. I was listening to anything training that went out. I was listening to personal development on YouTube every single day. Tony Robbins is great. Les Brown is great. Jim Rohn is great. They were my go-tos. Like I could probably, I don't know about now, but give it 12 months ago, I could probably recite them word for word because I was listening to them back to back. And I could tell when my business started to flatline and not grow is when I stopped feeding myself the mindset stuff that I needed to hear to become conscious. I guess there was no real point where I went, oh, I'm now conscious of it. I think because I've been doing it, the part of my DMO was the personal development, even if it's a 10-minute YouTube, same one that I listened to every single day for like 2 weeks straight until I knew it off by heart, because then that went subconsciously into my head because I was studying it. And so then it became my thought processes. It got me questioning things and just becoming more conscious. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. I've just written down, just reflecting off what you've said here, tap into your upline and allow them to keep you accountable. That's a way of recognizing that positive self-sabotage. And on that keeping you accountable, it's then, I guess, asking them, what's my next step? So don't think that you've reached the top. Don't think that you've done what you had to do. It's always, okay, what is my next step?
Yeah.
So I suppose that's one thing that takes you, beyond the ceiling, and then breaking down those steps into bite-sized pieces so that you're not in the overwhelm. And as Hilary said, getting into action. The other thing I'm reading from what you're saying too is staying close to the fire. And I think this is definitely something that often happens when people start to self-sabotage, whether it's negatively or positively. They'll slip away from the fire for a bit. Oh, Miss Monday night, it's not really a topic I think I need to know. Or, oh, I've been to that in-home event and I don't have any guests, so I can probably give it a miss this week. So I think too, just what you're saying there is, when you're in those moments of comfort, when you think you don't need to do the little bit of extra, getting in the car and going out and putting on your lippy and, not getting your PJs, it is getting yourself into those uncomfortable situations and then being okay with being uncomfortable. Because the reality is, in this business, you're never going to be comfortable, because if you're comfortable, then you're probably dying or your business is flatlining. Would that be right?
Yes. And let me tell you, I was very comfortable the last 12 months. And so I guess you just kind of reminded me of how I wanted to explain the other bit is, when I learned that I used to be the person that my cup was always full. I didn't need to learn anymore. I know it all. I've learned it all. And I know I sound a bit ego-y because that's just the person I am. You don't have to sound like you've got an ego. You could still be quiet. You could be like the opposite of me and very gentle and calming, but still think, I don't need to do that. If your cup is full, then you're being self-righteous. And I can say right now, I'm definitely very self-righteous. When I owned that quality, it's a quality, it's both positive and negative. When I owned that about myself and realized, Kim, you can always keep learning, and you can always keep growing. And when I realized that, it's like I opened up and I just allowed more of whatever it was that I was wanting or needing to come in. And when you feel like your cup isn't full, like you can still keep filling it with knowledge, with motivation, inspiration, whatever it might be, that's what's going to push you to the next level, because you go out of your way to absorb more things, more knowledge, more trainings, and that it almost becomes an autopilot there. When you learn more, you go do more, because it empowers you. It builds that fire inside. So there was that part. And I do want to say, guys, like, I know this is very full on stuff and you can take this however you like, but I'm talking like those people, if you're like me and you just want to make a change, you have your goals and it means so much to you, then you're going to absorb this stuff and you're going to empty the cup and allow yourself to learn more and grow more. So I know it can sound full on. When I first learned all this stuff, I was just like, whoa, my mind is exploding. But that's why I just listen. I constantly do the personal development, because I listen and remember what I need to hear at the time. So I just want to say that too, because I know this was very full on info.
I think it's really important though, Kim. I mean, one of the 5 pillars of, one of the 5 things we suggest people do every day is to be doing some sort of personal development. And I'm always the person to say that, me and PD do not gel. I'm very left brain, that's very right brain. But it is actually the thing. You do the personal development education, but it's also as important to put that personal development into action. So, guys, if anyone on tonight's call has really resonated with what Kim has had to say, make sure you let her know, because this is, I think, such a key point in our journey in this business. Kim, for anyone who wants to learn a little bit more about this stuff, do you have any suggested resources that they could go and check out?
Well, what sprung to me is the MJB trainings, MJB seminars. They have a really good podcast. It's also on YouTube, and it's called Dorothy and the Dealer. All kinds of stuff through there. I can't remember what I listened to that made me think the positive self-sabotage, but their stuff is amazing. They have heaps of free content. And if you feel like you are struggling with anything mindset, put that into YouTube and put something like Tony Robbins on the end, because I love his stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you think, okay, I am self-sabotaging, put it into YouTube. There's heaps of 10 minutes. It's all free training. And even if you don't like one person, the video underneath, you might like that person. And just be open to hearing what people say. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to, I know we got to cut off at 8:30. I really want you guys to remember becoming conscious of a positive self-sabotage. Oh, I can't even say it now. Positive self-sabotage is a tongue twister. Is when you get to a point where you feel like you've done good enough and you're really happy with yourself, take that time to embrace it and then be like, okay, how can I grow even more? Don't let this stop me just where I am now. And if you don't know what the next step is, reach out to your upline. Be like, I need you to push me, or I need you to keep me accountable. What do I need to do? I love it when my team asks me that, because I always put my disclaimer on. I'm like, I sound really bossy. I don't mean to sound bossy when I say this, but if I was you, this is what I would do. This is what I've learned. X, Y, and Z, go do it. And I can tell the team who go and do it, because they're the ones whose businesses are growing. So, yeah.
Beautiful job. Yeah. Love your work. Thanks so much, Kim. A really profound topic. Thanks so much. And, I appreciate the fact that you jumped in at the last minute tonight as well. And like I said, I think it was serendipity. So, guys, thanks once again for jumping on tonight. Really appreciate it. Congratulations to all of you guys who have hit those targets that you want.